Hello and welcome to the Premier League preview brought to you by sportsbet.io. Do like, comment, share and subscribe to keep up with the latest previews from the Premier League, football across Europe, Champions League at the day recording, all the games in the Champions League being played tonight. Also keep up to the latest news regarding the NFL and the NBA. We've got the Super Bowl just around the corner as well. But right now we are focusing on game week 24 of the Premier League. And joining me, Gavin Puszczalowskyi, is former Liverpool striker Neil Mellor. Hope you're well, Mells. And Paul Robinson, former England and Spurs goalkeeper. The first game we're going to play, a quick random shout of, where is Robbo today? Where are you?
Tell us. I thought it was a game you were going to play. I was waiting for your answers. I thought you were going to guess.
No, I mean,
there's obviously a round of Champions League fixtures this week. There's Europa League fixtures this week. Then there's English teams involved. So have a guess.
Well, I from what you spoke about last week, I think you're somewhere in Romania. Is what you said. So you are somewhere deep in Romania. Do you even know where you are in Romania?
It was very dark when I landed last night, and I was brought to a hotel, and I've woken up at the same place this morning. So in Bucharest. I came last night on a flight from Leeds Bradford with a lot of Manchester United fans, who I was actually very nervous about, I must say, travelling out, obviously with the Leeds connections and everything else. But it was an absolute pleasure. Met some really nice people, and had a really good laugh with them last night on the plane. So no, it was a pleasant surprise, let's say.
One of the big talking points of the last week. Got a couple of talking points actually. We'll touch on these, but it does concern your old side, Spurs, Robbo. 1 win in 11 Premier League games. They've lost 8 in the last 10. Pressure on Ange. Quite simply, what's going on at Spurs?
Same as what's been going on for the last, 6-7 months. They're playing a style of football and they're losing games. You know, they're not adapting. The players that are missing this in the injury list, 10 injuries, you can lay a lot down at that. But actually, when you're doing the same thing week in and week out and you're getting the same results, and the fans that are travelling everywhere watching this team, they can see what's going on. We can see what's going on, but the manager's still refusing to change anything. 2 wins in 12 Premier League games. I mean, sat 15th in the Premier League. 2 wins in 10 in all competitions. It's just not good enough. If that's any other manager, I don't know why he's got so much credit in the bank. Probably those 10 games at the start of last season when we all sat here as well and talked about a title challenge, didn't we? But actually, the fact that they're still in the EFL semi-final against Liverpool, they're still in the Europa League progressing well, they're still in the FA Cup. I mean, realistically, if you sack him now, have you given him an opportunity with the best players? You probably haven't. I think you leave until the end of the season and then you decide then. I think if you bring a new manager in now, Ryan Mason's not the answer. Not short term. You know, the impact of a new manager bounce, you're not going to get that with Ryan Mason. The lads know him, they know what he's about. It's not really worked before. If you're going to bring a new manager, it has to have an impact. And at the moment, who are you going to get and who are you going to bring in? For me, you leave Ange in charge till the end of the season, get him his players back, see what he can do till the end of the season, and then you assess that situation. Listen, there's every chance in 2 or 3 weeks that all those cup competitions have disappeared and they're still sat 15th in the league, and then there's a real problem. But you give him an opportunity with the players that he's got, because I don't see any other alternatives out there at the moment, other than the police that are driving past here. They know that I've arrived, you see, that's what it is.
Exactly right. The Romanian Rozzers are on the way to cart him away. Robbo's in town. Get him out. That's what's going on. They have had some shockers, though, haven't they, Mel's? Spurs, of course. I mean, I know they've hit with injuries and they've got a big injury list, but they shouldn't really be losing at home to Leicester, should they? And, of course, we can't ignore the 0-0 at Tamworth. I know they went through in the FA Cup, but even that itself is a shocker that they drew 0-0 at Tamworth.
Yeah, they've been poor. And in a way, you have to sort of say the injuries without a doubt have had an impact. But surely there's enough quality there to have got more points than they have and to have competed a little bit better. I think the fact that they're 1-0 up in the first leg of the League Cup and the fact it's so far apart has helped the manager, because the way that Spurs have been in previous seasons, they wouldn't have been as patient as they have been with Ange Postecoglou. I don't know why they have been so patient. The style of football, if everybody's back fit, might be entertaining, but Spurs in the bottom half of the table is not good enough, and they're not going to get in Europe, 16 points off it. There's just no chance of that. Can they win the Europa League? Maybe, yeah, but they'll have to get all the players back for the knockout. So they're not a good side, and you just don't fancy them winning games at the moment. And the latest one was that one to Leicester at home. Poor result.
Yeah, very poor
That's
result.
a Leicester team that's on a run of 7 defeats in a row. I mean, we joked about it, didn't we, last week? We said, that would be just like Tottenham to lose that game. It's almost unthinkable to lose a game, regardless of what players are missing. Tottenham should have enough in that squad, what they had, and set up in a way to beat Leicester at home. Granted, they played better, they were the better side, but for 10 minutes after half-time when Leicester got the goals. But still, it's the result at the end of the day that counts. And it's those type of results are unacceptable, and which is why the pressure's mounting on Daniel Levy, and which is why the pressure's mounting on Ange Postecoglou as well.
Yeah, there will be a certain set of fans who still support Ange. They like him. He's a very likeable chap. Give him time. There's players out injured, but then they lose at home to Leicester, and that's where some of those faithful go, no, hang on, enough is enough. We shouldn't be losing at home to Leicester, regardless of whether we've got injuries or not. They're away at Brentford this weekend as well, and as we know, that is an extremely tough place to go. The other big talking point this weekend is Manchester United and the Marcus Rashford situation. Ruben Amorim has suggested he'd rather give a place on the bench to his 63-year-old goalkeeping coach. I was thinking, Robbo, you could get back in there, my friend, and make the bench at Manchester United if you put your boots back on.
I've got nearly 20 years left. If you've got to get to 63,
exactly.
I've got right. 17 years. I've still got a chance.
You could join tomorrow and still have a testimonial. So the Rashford situation. I'll come to you first, Mells. I mean, is this a case of where Rashford has got to look at the situation and go, right, I've got to do better because I've been slightly mauled in public about my attitude? Or is it a case of Man United have got to compromise with the player and get the best out of Rashford? Because it looks like there's a bit of an impasse at the moment.
Well, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. I've got no idea what his attitude's like in terms of training, getting there on time, how he's training. So I don't know about that. But what I do know is when I've watched Manchester United play, Manchester United are better with Marcus Rashford in the team. And he's not. If you get rid of Marcus Rashford, that's not going to solve all of Manchester United's problems. We've seen it before, Sancho, Ronaldo, there's been other players, and things haven't changed. United are really, really struggling this season. And I looked at some of the numbers for Manchester United this season with Rashford. Here we go. So top scorer, Dalot, 6 goals in the Premier League. Not enough. Bruno Fernandes, 5. Third top scorer is Marcus Rashford with 4 goals. The last Premier League start Marcus Rashford had, he scored 2 goals against Everton. The last time he started a Premier League game, he scores 2, and he hasn't started one since. So I'm thinking, he does all right in terms of that. 24 games he's played this season, 7 goals. So he is a better option up front than Xerxes and Højlund. I think there's no doubt about that in terms of the numbers. He's got 60 caps for England. 3 of his last 5 seasons, he's hit 20 goals. So why all of a sudden has he gone from being a really decent player to not being good enough to get into Manchester United's team, who are in the bottom half of the Premier League table? I just don't understand that. And here's the last one to throw at you. Since he's not played in the team, Manchester United have got 10 points out of 30 in the Premier League. 10 out of 30. And you're telling me Marcus Rashford couldn't do more than what's been currently done at the moment?
Well, is this just pure stubbornness then from Ruben Amorim to a certain extent of where, I've made my decision and that is it? Because listen, you're quite right, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but every single time I've seen anything about Marcus Rashford, he comes across as a really well-grounded lad. He seems absolutely fine. It's just not a case of where, do you know what, let bygones be bygones, arm around the shoulder, you're an important part of the team, let's crack on together. Is that what should be happening at Old Trafford here, Robbo?
They might be forced into that because we're getting ever near to the end of the window, aren't we? It closes on the 3rd of February, so that might be a situation that arises. Listen, I agree with Mel's. I mean, you're not telling me that Marcus Rashford isn't better than Xerxes and Højlund. The output that you're getting from those 2 players in the last, 10, 15 games, he doesn't know which one to play. He alternates them week in and week out. If one starts, the other one comes on after an hour, and he changes it. You're not telling me that Rashford's not a better option. I think Amorim is stubborn. I think you see that in his formation. Having watched a lot of Manchester United recently and watching him again this week, you see his 3-4-2-1 formation, and actually is there a little bit of naivety on his behalf? Managers don't get a job when a club's doing well. We always say that, right? So you come in, you plug holes, you stop things happening, you get results. In the same way as Ange at Tottenham, yes, you can say this is how I want to get to. The 3-4-2-1 served me well in Portugal. Down the line, when I get the players, this is what I eventually want to build to. You don't keep doing what you're doing week in and week out, and it's not working with the group of players you've got. Garnacho, for example, he's one of the better players at Manchester United. Exciting, wide player, plays on the left, gets the best out of him on the left. He played him in a number 10 role last week against Rangers, but you give him the freedom to go on the left-hand touchline, which was a little bit of flexibility in that system. Garnacho doesn't fit in that system. Ahmad's not a right wing back. He's a winger. He's an attacking winger, like Garnacho, like Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford is a 9 or a wide player. He's not a 10. So that formation that he's trying to squeeze these players into, he's got a lot of square pegs in round holes. I know we say that a lot of times, but you look at the players that he's got. Some of his better players are not playing in the right positions, and they're not fitting in his system. And as far as the stuff with Marcus Rashford goes, I didn't like what came out of the Rashford camp about, right, he's getting his head down, he's working hard, he's absolutely at full tilt at the training ground. That's a given. That's your job. That's a given. Minimum requirement, maximum effort. That goes without saying. But actually, where Amarin's now with the stance that he's made with him, it's going to be interesting because that window could well slam shut. And Manchester United are a better team if Marcus Rashford is involved, fit, focused, getting on with the manager. And that might be a good situation for Manchester United and their supporters that actually the manager's forced into. You might have to back down because you're going to have a player sat there that's better than a lot of what you've got in your dressing room, and he's not going to use him. Surely he's got to.
Thank you. There's plenty of rumours that Barcelona are interested in Rashford. As you said, the January transfer window ends early next week, so we shall keep an eye on the Rashford situation at Manchester United. Right now, though, it's looking at the big games for this coming weekend's Premier League football. So we're looking at 3 big games for this weekend's Premier League, and there's none bigger than Arsenal against Manchester City. This would have been a title decider if you look back over the last 2 or 3 Premier League seasons, but not quite so this time around. Of course, Arsenal are second and Man City are fourth. There is 6 points difference between these two sides. They both trail Liverpool at the top. I'm going to come to you first, Mel's, on this one. Arsenal are just over 2 to win. Man City are just over 3. I would imagine that's the biggest price they've been to win at Arsenal for a while. Your thoughts and score prediction, please?
Fancy Arsenal. Yeah, I mean, they are very much still in the title race. City aren't. But City could still maybe squeeze a second place. I don't think that's beyond the realms of possibility. Are City back? That's what people are asking the question of. Wasn't convinced. And then they got a big result against Chelsea, albeit with the help of the goalkeeper, Sanchez, who went walkabouts. And that was a big moment in the game. So I'm still not convinced City are back. And I think this is a really tough game. I don't think Arsenal are at the scintillating best, but they're picking up results. They're on a good run. They're 13 games unbeaten, and you still think there's a little bit more to come from Arsenal. So from a Liverpool point of view, that's the concern. They are the big threat for the title. And I just think this is a massive game for Arsenal to get 3 points. This will give them massive belief, confidence to get the victory. And I fancy them. I do fancy them to get the 3 points. So, it was 2-2, wasn't it, earlier on in the season? Cracking game. John Stones got a 98th minute equalising goal. I fancy Arsenal to have enough. Both teams to score, yes, but Arsenal to be too much for City this weekend.
Scoreline?
3-1.
Oh, 3-1. I predicted a 2-1, but you've gone for 3-1. Yeah, Man City. This is a sign of this fixture against Man City is a sign of how Arsenal have changed over the last few seasons. What Arteta has done, because Man City won 8 games straight against Arsenal, and now they haven't won any of the last 3. It's become a lot more competitive. The last 2 have been draws. Your thoughts and score prediction, please, Robbo.
You're going to love it this morning, Gav. You are going to love this morning because there's not going to be many agreements. I'm the other way. I'm firmly in the City camp. I think they've got new players in. Marmoush last week, he looked excellent for me. Kuzanov, I know, came in. He looked a little bit shaky, but Marmoush came in, played on that left-hand side with that number 7 shirt. Goal disallowed. I thought he looked lively. I thought he's maybe that little bit of spark that they haven't got. Arsenal struggled over the line against Wolves. I don't know if they're quite there, Arsenal. I don't know if they've got it in them to have the longevity of a long title race this year. And I just think this is a game that could put City back on the map. And I'm going to go the complete opposite. I go Man City 3, Arsenal 1. Marmoush to get on the scoreless sheet.
Split opinion. I like it. Moving on to Bournemouth against Liverpool. This is 3 p.m. on Saturday. And we all fancied Forest to win away at Bournemouth. And I think it's fair to say that we all got it rather wrong. Result of the weekend with Bournemouth demolishing Forest by 5-0. Stellar performance. I mean, there's an argument to suggest who is your team of the season so far. Is it Forest or is it Bournemouth? They have both been excellent. I'm coming to you first, Mel's, on this one. Of course, you are a former Liverpool player. The prices in this one, let me just have a quick look at the price of Bournemouth. They are over 4 to win this one. Liverpool are just under 2. Your thoughts and score prediction, Mel's, please?
Tough game. Yeah, really tough game. Credit to Bournemouth. Good team to watch. You know, I don't know if you saw the goals that they scored last weekend against Forest, but they scored and then celebrated with about 20 Bournemouth players that are injured in the corner, in the box. And the fact they're getting such good results with so many players out, I mean, credit to the manager. They've got some really talented players there. This is a tough game for Liverpool. Liverpool have a Champions League game before it and have rested majority of the players because they know how tough this game is. So Liverpool will be ready, aware. The two most informed teams, I think it's fair to say, Bournemouth are 12 unbeaten, Liverpool are 18 unbeaten in the Premier League. Beat them comfortably at Anfield. This will be far from comfortable. So I think one goal at best. Liverpool won there last season 4-0. Since then, Bournemouth haven't lost by more than a goal at home since the 20 home games. So they're a tough team to beat at home. I'd snap your hand off for a 1-0. I'm going for a 1-0 away win. Come on, Salah, get the winner for us.
Darwin Núñez has got 3-2 against Bournemouth. Can I just mention before I come to Robbo, that leap from Matara to head it in against Forest was just incredible. I've never seen a footballer, jump so high. It was just incredible. Right, Bournemouth, Liverpool. Robbo, your thoughts and score prediction, please.
Bournemouth are flying, aren't they? I mean, that box that you mentioned about the injured players, it made me laugh. I was listening to something the other day. Somebody compared to it like a little hospital ward. You think like the nurses come around every 10 minutes or so, check the temperatures and do all the levels while the game's on and just make sure they're all right in that little physio room in the box. But no, they've got nearly as many as Tottenham, Bournemouth. But listen, 5-0 against Forest, 4-1 at Newcastle, draw against Chelsea, beat Everton, Bournemouth are flying. Mel's, I knew he wouldn't back against his old team. Easiest Champions League week for them, already first or second. So as he says, we'll rest them up. It's going to be a draw, or Bournemouth are going to nick it at home. This could be one where Liverpool find it tough. Bournemouth are on an absolute flying run. I'm going to go Bournemouth to nick it 2-1.
I think they've only beaten Liverpool twice in the Premier League at home, and one of those was a 4-3 back in 2016, a bit of a belter. So another split opinion. I like where this is going. And then on Monday, 8 p.m, we have Chelsea against West Ham. I watched West Ham away at Villa, and to be fair, I was quite impressed with them. The pricing in this one, Chelsea, I would imagine, are going to be firm favourites, and they are at just around 1.4. West Ham at 8. West Ham at 8 to win this one. That could be tempting for some people. I'm going to come to you first on this one, Paul. Your thoughts on West Ham away at Chelsea?
Well, I was at the Villa game in the FA Cup, Graham Potter's first game, and I thought defensively he restructured them in a way that I'd not seen West Ham this year. And a lot of West Ham fans came away from that game happy with the way that the team played. The thing that we know about West Ham is the striker situation. You know, they are light in that area with the injuries that they've got, and are the goals in that team. But I think the performance last week at Villa, that'll give a lot of West Ham fans hope for the future under Graham Potter. I thought they played extremely well. The 2-0 home defeat against Palace, that's one of the results in turnover, in transition, when the manager comes in. Beat Fulham at home, then they lose against Palace. The draw at Villa is a good result for them. It's going to be, they are going to have different results along the way, West Ham, with the way that they're playing, the way that they're setting up. Chelsea obviously got beat last time out against Manchester City. Beat Wolves. Where am I going with this? It's going to be a tough one. Both teams to score, but I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I do fancy Chelsea to get a goal. Can West Ham nick it? No. One apiece. I don't think West Ham can score enough. I don't think they've got enough in their armoury to score enough, because Chelsea are going to score at home. Chelsea are the favourites, obviously, and they're narrowing the market because of that reason. West Ham don't score enough goals to beat Chelsea at home. One apiece.
Chelsea have only won 3 in 10 at home. 5 in 10 at home, which tells you that if you can find a side who are 8 to win away at Chelsea, and West Ham are not Southampton, they're not Leicester, draw no bet, double chance opens up at that price as well. You're going for the draw. Have we got another split opinion here? What's your thinking, Mels?
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea have had a little wobble, haven't they, in the Premier League? 1 win in 7, in terms of trying to get in the top 4. That will be the aim, and get back to some more consistency with the results. I think that's been the thing. I think with West Ham, there will be inconsistency with the new manager coming in. Great point at Villa. I think you have to say that. Both teams to score. And one of the glaring stats for that one is 1 clean sheet in 11 for Chelsea at home. 1 in 11. So they just don't keep clean sheets. Sanchez, I'd like to know what Robbo thinks about Sanchez, but a bit of a weak link for Chelsea for me. And West Ham have scored in 9 of their 10 away games. So they're good for an away goal as well, West Ham. So I'm on both teams to score. Is Bowen back? That's the question. Have a look at the team sheet. I think that will certainly help West Ham if he is. But Chelsea just to have enough. I think this will be a good game. But Chelsea just to win it 2-1.
Last time West Ham played at Chelsea, they got battered 5-0. So 2-1 is, even if it is a defeat, but it's a more respectable one. And we've had a bit of a query as to whether Man United at home to Crystal Palace is indeed a big game. We shall give it a quick mention for all the Manchester United fans who are watching, and also because there's a very good argument to be backing Crystal Palace to win this one. So I'll come to you first, Paul. Man United against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace actually not as big as you think. This is a sign of Manchester United. Crystal Palace, days gone by, would have been as big as West Ham at 8. They're just under 4 to win this one. Thoughts and score prediction quickly, please, on this one.
Yeah, Old Trafford doesn't hold the fear that it did in years gone by, does it? And I think we can stop talking about comparing them to past glories, if you like. They played well against Rangers, but it was a good game. It was a hard-fought game. Rangers came down south of the border. A lot of injuries, a lot of players missing, changed the team, but give Man United a really good game. The win at Fulham, still, again, it wasn't a great performance. They've not really played extremely well other than in 2 games, you would say. Arsenal away and Liverpool away for Manchester United. They managed to get themselves up for those big games. This is another potential banana skin at Old Trafford for them after a tough trip here in Romania. They're going to look to win this one in Romania because they can go first or second. They go second in the Europa League, which then gives them a better draw. They split, as we know. First and second avoid each other. So they will play a strong team out here tonight. On Thursday in Romania. Will that affect them at the weekend? No. Sunday, 2:00 kickoff. Manchester United to win 2-0.
Gone for 2-0, of course. Man United recently, last year, got battered 4-0 at Crystal Palace, if you remember. A real low point. Mels, your thoughts and score prediction, please.
Yeah, mid-table game, 12th v 13th. Won't be first on match of the day, will it? I'm going to go with form on this one. Manchester United have lost 4 of the last 5 at home in the Premier League. There really hasn't been a fortress. Teams have enjoyed going there. I think Palace will enjoy going there. 7 unbeaten away in the Premier League. I'm on form. Palace to win 2-1.
Palace did win 1-0 last time they played at Manchester United. So you've gone for... So I don't think... No, you have not agreed in any of these whatsoever. We've looked at 4 games. We've got a split opinion in all 4. The very best of luck. And also the very best of luck now to me and Robbo as we're having a go on Neil's quiz. Welcome to On the Buzzer with your Game Master host, Neil Mellor. It's called On the Buzzer, even though we haven't got a buzzer. This is how it's going to work. Neil has got 6 questions. 3 will be directed at me and 3 will be directed at Robbo. And if the question is directed that gets it wrong, the other person can come in and steal. And we're going in alternate turns. So the first question is to Robbo. Ask away, Neil.
Here we go, Robbo. All game related this weekend. Bournemouth versus Liverpool. When Liverpool beat Bournemouth last season 4-0, 2 players scored 2 goals for Liverpool. Which player didn't score last season? Was it Jota, Salah, or Nunes? Who didn't score last season for Liverpool?
Hopeless this. Ask me something that happened 15, 20 years ago. I'll be able to tell you. Ask me something that happened last season or last week. I've got no idea. What was the options? Jota?
Who didn't score for Liverpool last season at Bournemouth in the 4-0 win? Was it Jota, Salah, or Nunes?
Before you answer, I don't want to pile on the pressure, but I know this one.
That's why I asked Robbo first.
I know.
Well, Nunes would be the obvious answer, so I'm not going to go obvious. I'm going to go Jota. Oh, Salah. Oh, is Salah the obvious one? Oh, I've no idea. Jota.
So, Gav, can you steal?
Yeah, I can. It's Salah.
Yeah, well done. Gav
Thank
wins.
you very much.
1 point. Right, question 2. This one's for Gav. Wolves against Villa. Not beat Wolves away, Villa, with fans, because obviously COVID didn't count, since 2012. Which Irishman scored 2 for Villa that day? Villa haven't beaten Wolves away with fans since 2012. They won 3-2. Which Irishman scored 2 for Villa?
Do you know, the only one I can think of is Steve Staunton, but that's way before then. Oh, God. Robbo, do you have any idea?
Hang on, if you pass it on,
I'm not passing it. I'm just wanting to know if he has an idea, because that piles the pressure on.
Have I played with him?
Yeah, but don't tell Gav
that. Do you know? 5-second countdown. 4.
Irish.
I'm going to have to pass. Doors
Villa.
open.
Villa, he's passed.
Had he played for both clubs?
Yes.
Robbie Keane.
Oh, it's a great steal, Robbo. Great steal.
There you go.
Do you know what is really annoying? Robbie Keane was in my head, and I went, I don't think he ever played for Villa.
I must admit, I didn't know he played for Villa. But anyway,
That's really, really annoying, because my first thought was Robbie Keane. I thought, no, discount that. He didn't play for Villa. That's really annoying. 1-1. Right, question 3. This is to Robbo.
Robbo, Man United against Palace. Manchester United have not scored in the last 3 Premier League games against Crystal Palace. Who was the last Man United player to score against Palace in the Premier League? Weghorst, Rashford, or Sancho? Weghorst, Rashford, or Sancho? Who was the last United player to score against Palace in the Premier League?
Well, if it was in the 90 whatever minute, it would have been Weghorst. But since it's topical, let's go Rashford.
Point. Yes.
Oh.
2-1 Robbo. 2-1 Robbo.
Honestly, I need these 10 or 15 years ago. I told you last week, I'm no good.
I'd have gone Weghorst on that one. Right, question 4 to me to equalise.
But you've got the big game. Arsenal against Man City. Second against fourth. Last time there was a draw at the Emirates was 2017, 2-2. It was Wenger v Pep. Who scored the first goal in the game in that cracking 2-2? Was it Sane, Aguero, or John Stones? Sane, Aguero, or John Stones. First goal in that cracker 2-2. All 3 played, by the way.
I'm going to go for the obvious one, and I think it might be too obvious, but I'm going to go for Aguero.
Wrong. Robbo to steal. Sane or John Stones. Sane or John Stones? Who are you going for?
Sane.
I'll give you a chance. Sane or John Stones? What's your final answer?
John Stones.
Wrong. Sane. Should have stuck with it.
Done him like a kipper. Done him like a kipper.
Still 2-1. Still 2-1. Here we go. It's back to you, Robbo. Everton against Leicester. That massive game this weekend. What was the score earlier on this season, Robbo, at Leicester? Leicester v Everton, what was the score this season?
I think I backed Everton to win this game. Did Everton win this game?
Well, that's what I'm asking you. What was the score? Everton scored in the game.
Oh,
Yeah.
Could have it. What? 5 seconds? 5 seconds? 4? 3?
I think I backed him to win 2-0 Everton.
Wrong. Gav to steal.
Well, Leicester generally do score goals at home, so I'm going to go 2-1 Everton.
1-1. Both wrong. Last question. Question 6. Gav to get an equaliser. Here we go.
Yeah.
Chelsea v West Ham. West Ham have not won away at Chelsea since before COVID. 2019. That's 1 win in 23 years in the league for West Ham at Chelsea. The goal scorer that day was Creswell. 1-0 victory. 2019. Who was the Chelsea manager, Gav? 2019.
Oh, could be one of 50.
Oh, this honestly, yeah, I know. Frank Lampard.
Oh, what a pull that one is. 2-2.
Get in there.
Tiebreaker.
You see, that's the only reason he stitched me up, because he wanted a tiebreaker. The quiz is rigged again.
Tiebreaker. Your question is Frank Lampard related. He got 106 caps for England. How many goals did he score?
Robbo can answer first this week.
I've been told by producer Sam that Robbo has to answer first.
How many goals did Lampard get for
I'll
England?
tell producer Sam something else. I'll just sit here and wait for you.
This song is from
I
Romania.
think the internet's going. In the Romanian internet's not very good.
I will go
Are you
first.
still there? Are you there?
I'll go first, otherwise he'll miss kickoff in the Man U game on Thursday night. I will. 106. I will say he scored. This is for England, is it?
England only, yeah.
Should be one more if you're counting the 2010 World Cup, where it's clearly over the line against Germany. Still annoys me. I will say 14. Seems a bit
How many?
low. 14.
14.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the easiest ever. I'll tell you what, I'll give him that one in Germany and a few more. I'll give him 15, but my guess would have been in the 40s.
29. Robbo wins. 29. 14. That's harsh, Gav.
It is, but he wasn't prolific for England, was he? But prolific enough. Should have been 30. That means you've clinched it. That means that you have clinched this week. You've won on the tiebreaker. So on the buzzer, without a buzzer, this week goes to Paul Robinson. Congratulations, my friend. Well done.
Thank you. Again, another week. Even though I'm getting stitched up and rigged, that's another week in the bag.
Sane. Should have stuck with Sane. Should have stuck with Sane.
Don't matter, we still won annoyingly. We'll play again next week. Right, time for your trebles. Treble time. This is where you give me your best 3 picks of the week. We will go away and put 10 USDT on your picks, and any money, all money that we raise at the end of the season, we'll donate to charity. In the bank, Mells, you have 73 USDT just over, and Robbo, you landed last week, so you've got 68 USDT in the bank. Mells, your treble for this week. I'll just say, by the way, before you do, that you went for Brighton, Newcastle, Arsenal last week and got let down by a couple of them. What is your treble for this week?
I think I only got let down by 1. Newcastle and Arsenal won. Brighton got beat by Everton. That was the big shock. 1. So I was unlucky. I was close. Anyway, right, my treble is the 3 best teams in the Premier League. Liverpool to beat Bournemouth away. Arsenal to beat Man City. And Forest to beat Brighton. 3 best Premier League teams, all to win this weekend.
So Liverpool, Forest, Arsenal. I will tell you, that's a fairly hefty price. That is 8.51. We've put 10 USDT on it, and it's 85. So that's best of luck with that. Right, I have to reach for my laptop on this one because the way that Robbo works is he just gives it to me off the cuff now. No planning. So hit me with your treble. Let's go.
You're going to like this one. You're going to really like this one, Gav. You ready?
I am ready.
I think you'll get the theme of it fairly quickly. Brighton to beat Forest.
I know what's happening here already. Yep, go on.
Bournemouth to beat Liverpool.
Yep.
And Man City to win at Arsenal.
This will be nice. This will be nice. Man City, 3.45 at the time of recording. Right, these have gone in. Last week, your treble, by the way, was... Do you remember what your treble was last week? Let me have a
It was
quick
about
look.
10 million to 1, wasn't it?
It was something like that. Yeah, it was 232... 0.7 is what it was, because you went for Everton, Wolves, and West Ham. You got let down by Wolves. There was a time where it was touch and go. It could have landed, but it didn't.
It could have landed that. That was close, wasn't it?
Yeah, so this is a treble. Let me work it out. And it's rather annoyingly... Oh, here we go. Let me just have a quick look. Here we go. Got it.
You need to take your shoes and socks
but
off.
now it is. Yeah, exactly.
80s?
Not as big as you think. It's still a nice price. It's 44.12, because actually what you've got is a treble there with, 3 sides who can win a game of football. There's no Southampton, there's no Leicester, it's not West Ham to win at Chelsea. So you've got 44, 10 USDT just gone on that. Still a nice price, 441 USDT if this lands.
You can have the draw in all 3 games.
I'll have the draw in all 3.
Yeah.
That's what I'll go for. I'll put my own little treble on and see how that comes off next week. We shall find out in next week's episode of the Premier League preview with Sportsbet.io whether these trebles have landed. We'll also be back with the big talking points. We'll also be back with On the Buzzer, a game that actually doesn't have a buzzer, ironically. Thank you for your time, guys. Enjoy Romania. Keep dodging those Rozzers at Robbo, as we heard earlier on. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mel's. Have a good weekend as well. And always, please, whatever your bets are, please do gamble responsibly.